Welcome to Figuring Out the Ordinary YouTube channel. I'm so glad I could have you as my next guest on the YouTube channel. Can you just please introduce yourself and give a brief background about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me today. I'm Sean Lafleur and I'm South African living in the Netherlands. I just recently finished my civil engineering degree and now I'm working for a company called Fugro, and they are basically worldwide and they are specialized in collecting geodata and then advising their clients on what they found based on the geodata. And yeah, it's more geotechnical based. So they have marine and land departments, so where they collect on sea and on land geodata, and then yeah, for the rest do their thing. And I'm working there now 2 months, so I'm really new with the whole thing. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So you've got quite an interesting story with your career, or should I say your studies. So I would like to share that with whoever's going to be watching this interview. So what was your degree when you studied in South Africa?
I
Studied.
So I studied a BSc geology degree in South Africa and at the University of Pretoria. Yeah, geology. Um, how can I say it? I started that due to not getting into civil engineering in South Africa. My marks weren't that great, just average. And then I got into geology because that was my second option. So I decided, yeah, why not try it? And then I just did it. It was a good way to find myself in learning to love learning, I guess. That's why I found the love of just knowing things, learning, and challenging myself into things that I don't know. And it was a tough degree. And from there, I also still wanted to do civil engineering. And so luckily I got the chance when I came this side to do it. Yeah, that's actually a bit how it went, I guess, if you can say it that way. Yeah.
But before you started like loving to learning,
Yeah.
through your geology degree, I think because it is a natural um, mindset to initially have, like, I didn't have the good marks, I didn't get accepted to what I really wanted to do. So did you ever feel, did you ever compare yourself to other people who got in or had better marks, or felt like you were never good enough initially, or how was that for you initially?
Yeah, good question. Initially, I didn't, yeah, I felt I did well in school, but not well enough because maybe I didn't understand or I couldn't adapt as well as the other students or could understand as well how they did and did so well. For me, I've learned throughout the years now that how I do it, and that's what makes it so cool for me to see how I've done the past years, that I had to do it my way. So recently, yeah, I don't compare myself anymore. And back then I did, because you feel yeah, you feel like, oh, why am I so stupid? Or why can't I, yeah, understand so quickly? But then you have to find your own way through the understanding of what they explain, practice, 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 to see how you can understand what they, how they explain a formula or a methodology with mathematics or calculus or, yeah, all the difficult things we had to calculate, how you can make it easier for yourself instead of comparing it. And I think that helped me a lot because I really studied hard and worked hard for what I wanted to do, even though geology wasn't something I wanted to do, but I've learned to adapt and just to make it my thing. And I think, oh, sorry, it's a morning thing. And I think that's how you need to do it also throughout life or throughout what you want to do, to make it your own and to enjoy it and not compare yourself, because that's always the hard part, not to compare yourself. Once you let that go, everything else gets easier.
That is so true. And what were your steps to change that mindset from continuously comparing yourself to stop comparing yourself?
Just working harder and challenging myself to compare myself what I did yesterday. So instead of comparing myself to other people, I compared myself on how I did. And I think that helped me as well, because actually your worst enemy is yourself.
That
And I
is
think, yeah, and I think, yeah, it took a while to understand that and to work through that phase. I mean, my whole degree in geology, I did that, comparing myself. And yeah, only once I came here, I started realizing, yeah, why am I doing that? I still did it in my first year, but then further, I told myself, why am I doing it? I just need to do my thing, study how I want to, work in my steps. And then, yeah, everything went well. And then people, yeah, looked up to me somehow because I also worked hard and did my thing and not comparing myself to others. And yeah, that's been working well for me. And it's the best what you can do.
That's so true. I think we all compare, and I think that's just a general thing. We don't realize it.
Yeah.
And I think social media has also contributed towards also comparing yourself. Because I know for me personally, like I don't follow a lot of people because I
Yeah.
don't want to start comparing myself. Because our paths and our journeys are totally different, and our
Yes.
backgrounds are totally different. So
Exactly. That is true.
yeah, and I think also in terms of the academic, I think that's when it makes it also difficult because you expected if you have this that they determine whether you're smart or you're not smart or you can't do a
Yes.
degree. And I think that is a bit frustrating because, like you said, you have your own way of studying because there's
Yeah.
different ways of understanding something. So I
Yeah.
think it's also school and varsities made it like very generalized as well.
Yes, that is true. And I mean, in university, you need to find your own way and you need to work hard for what you do because it's your own responsibility if you get your degree or not. And that's where some people miss the step because in school it went so easy because they didn't have to work that hard. And then once they get to university, it's another ball game. And then there's the difference, that one step you need to take or have to motivate yourself, to work hard for yourself and not for others, and do your own thing.
That is true. So once you finished your geology degree, what was the next step?
The next step, finding a job, but that's difficult, especially in South Africa. When you have a degree, um, I also chose not to do honors degree as I felt geology wasn't for me. I did love studying, and I've learned so much about myself and the love of studying. But I felt, yeah, in South Africa, you either had to go into mining industry or really have connections into companies to get into a company and start from there. So for me, I chose, I just had to actually see where I got, and then it was to find a job, but yeah, it was really hard to find a job. So in the meantime, I coached hockey for 6 months, and then I got an opportunity to start as a science communicator at Scienza at the University Science Center. And that I did for about almost a year. Yeah, something less than a year, because with our contracts it was just a year. And it was a fun experience, building up skills like people skills, communicating, how you need to communicate with kids or teenagers, presenting yourself, giving presentations. So I felt there was that challenge, and I love doing that, presenting. And then also, making science easier to grasp for the kids. That was also a challenge, but in a way you still found your own way to do it. That was also a fun part. Then I thought, I had to get something else for my year contract before it runs out. Because I found that you need to always prepare and look for things before your contract runs out, otherwise you're too late. And so I saw maybe to do au pair work. That was the next step. It was also easier because I've got the experience working with kids as a science communicator, because they just work with kids all the time, which was good. And I thought, I've been working with kids. I want to see the world. So 2 and 2 together, I thought, au pairing would do the trick. And then in 2016, end of March, then I stopped as a science communicator at Scienza, and then I got the opportunity to come to the Netherlands as an au pair for a year. It was not a culture shock, but it was everything. It was really something else. My first time abroad in the Netherlands, in Europe. And then I also had the opportunity to travel 3 weeks in Europe. So I went to Spain, Italy, and France for the holidays. And in between it was fun working with the kids, babysitting them, taking them to school, cycling a lot in the Netherlands, like how they do things here, seeing the Netherlands itself as well, learning about the culture, eating food a lot, eating a lot, gaining weight, and meeting other South Africans in the Netherlands as well. And I also played a bit of hockey here. And yes, and then my year was up. And then I had to figure out a way as well again what to do in South Africa, going back, what other opportunities are there. I mean, I've been in the Netherlands for a year, so what can I do again? So I went home back to South Africa, and then I had to figure out stuff. It was also it was also a big change again, being 1 year away from home and then being back, the transition. I had to get used to again. having more time for myself. But then also finding a job was so hard, as to I couldn't even find the simplest job as being a waiter or just something, you know. That's how tough it is in South Africa. Even though I don't have that much experience, you just want something to work at. Yeah, and then, well, in the meantime, with the Netherlands, I've met my boyfriend and now husband. Um, then, yeah, I also made the decision then to study in South Africa civil engineering at CPUT or at UJ, because I really wanted to do that. That was still in the back of my mind of yes, I still want to do that, although I didn't have the opportunity. Now was the time maybe to do it. I have a degree, so maybe it's easier to get in, and it was. I've got accepted to both universities. Um, but then the question was, yeah, when will I see my boyfriend again? It's far and long distance. So then I've made the choice again to go to Belgium as an au pair to be closer to him. And there I was also for 8 months or so. And then I've made the choice to move to the Netherlands finally for him, my husband. And then, yeah, then then I realized, okay, I'm still not going to study, but then how can I do it? So it was a process to get here to the Netherlands, but everything went well. So I had to also study a new language, Dutch, and then I had to organize lots of paperwork to actually see if I can study here, and then I could. So that was a good, realization. And then in 2018, September, then I started studying civil engineering at the Hague University of Applied Sciences. So here you have universities and technicons also like TUT or CPUT. So where I studied was also like a technicon, because I felt like I already did university, more theory-based study, and now wanted more practical experience. So I've chosen a technicon more for the practical experience. And I've studied 3 years instead of 4 years, because I got exemption for a 6-month minor I had to do. With the degree, with my geology degree, I got the exemption, so it made things easier. And before that, I was actually on the fast track study course, which is you get to do instead of 4 years, 3.5 years. So with the exemption, I got 6 months less. So that made it into 3 years, which was fun but tough. As to, yeah, you need to study hard, and it's in a new language. So yeah, that's the story now for the past 5 years, actually, in a nutshell, how it went.
So yeah, it was quite an interesting past. But I also
Yeah,
think that sometimes, like you were saying, yes, in South Africa it is hard to get jobs. But and you're saying like just even like being like a waitress, for example, something so simple, and you're like, come on, but it's so simple, and you feel like you can't get it. But I think
mm,
also that in a way it was also just redirection to where you got to now.
exactly. It made it easier to tell yourself, or this is a closed door, this is a closed door. Then it made it easier to, like you said, put in one direction to go study what I had to do. So yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
sometimes rejection is just redirection, even if it's the most simplest of things.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And then you said that when you went to Netherlands, so what was like the process in terms of your visas, the passport, the flights? Like how did you prepare? Like because you had to. Was it your first time, right, living overseas? So what preparations did you have to do for that?
For au pairing or for coming to stay here?
So we can discuss both.
Both. Okay. For au pair, you had to show that you have experience for working with kids or babysitting. Then you had to have different reference forms, unabridged certificate, police clearance form, and that you had to apostille. But yeah, I worked through an agency, so they helped you step by step what forms and documents you needed to hand in. And then with au pairing was a nice combination, working together with the family. They also did the whole visa process thing there because it's easier than you just you get like a MVV visa, it's called, I think, a part-time one for you to enter the country, and then you get a residence card for 1 year. So working through an agency, I would say, is best. And then, yeah, it's just your normal documents, I would say. The police clearance and passport you need to have, and unabridged. And the rest, the agency can help you with, but those ones are the main one. And the flight tickets, the family bought for me, because it depends per family how you arrange your flight tickets. So luckily for me, they paid for everything, and some families let you pay half and they pay half for you to come over, because they basically also pay for your insurance, but some families don't do that, your medical insurance. It really just also depends on family, which family you get and how well you communicate with them and arrange things for yourself with them to make it easier. And then the same with Belgium. I had to pay my visa, but the rest they paid. That was our arrangement. And and the same documents also were accounted for. And then moving from Belgium to the Netherlands, that I had to do with the partner visa with my husband. So those documents were the same basically. Unabridged certificate, police clearance wasn't needed, just a form from Belgium. But then the tricky part was also getting a no impediment certificate from South Africa, that's stating that you're single and not married in South Africa, so that you had to get. And then from this side, we had to fill in a bunch of forms about our relationship and prove that we were in a relationship and stuff like that. That was it a bit. Yeah, all those documents. So it's a lot of paperwork.
Sounds like a lot of people.
Yes. But it's, it went all well, and it's easy to get actually, but I don't know about Corona times now. It makes it difficult.
Probably.
Yes.
And then besides the paperwork, when you had to move to Netherlands for the first time, in terms of like packing your clothes, how did you also do that? Did you like have to research the weather, or were you part of a group, or did you ask some like the family like how's the weather or what you need to like take, because you can't always take your whole wardrobe with you to Netherlands.
Yeah. Well, I asked the family for an extra bag because I think a maximum is one bag of 23 kgs. So I asked for an extra one because you are there for a year, and you are in winter, summer, spring, and autumn. And in the Netherlands, the weather is so unpredictable. So you really had to take a lot. And I thought, yeah, it's fine. Taking another bag is fine. So I did that and asked for that. I mostly Googled stuff in preparation of my travels. Yeah, for me, I like Googling, searching the web for what to do, what to prepare for. And did I ask people? I really didn't ask people, I think. Or maybe the family also just told me. No, I don't know anymore. So long ago. No, I think I mainly just Googled and just thought of, yeah, 4 seasons, you need to pack warm clothes. Mostly you need to pack warm clothes because, yeah, I don't know, summer this year wasn't that great. So I would say pack more warm clothes than summer clothes. But yeah, it's pretty easy to Google stuff and to find out the weather for most countries. And Google, I always say to friends as well, is your best friend. I just use it a lot.
That is true. But
Yeah.
sometimes Googling can be overwhelming. So for someone who's watching this and maybe is considering going overseas, like what questions would you type in Google just so they can have an idea?
For au pair and partner visa or
Or just the general like preparations that you had to do.
in general? Um, let's see. Maybe jobs in the Netherlands, um, or visa requirements in the Netherlands, um, top activities to do in the Netherlands, and you can see what things there are to do, fun things to do. Yeah, I think the visa requirements would be the best, and jobs, which jobs they are, because it's quite a strict country in the matter of visas and working visas and jobs, because some companies you they can help you with your visa getting over here, but then other companies don't. So it's always good to see which company allows you to come over with their help to get a visa this side. Um, highly skilled migrant visas in the Netherlands is also maybe a good one. Yeah, those ones. Or maybe if you would like to study further, master degree in the Netherlands or bursary scholarships in the Netherlands, because there are plenty of scholarships as well available. Um,
Did you get a scholarship for your studies?
no, I didn't. No, I had to, yeah, work part-time or find a student job, how they call it here, and then study, and then, yeah, had to pay. But then, in a way, I did have a scholarship. I don't know how to call it. Um, because I was on a partner visa, it allowed me to study, and then I had the opportunity to pay as a Dutch student instead of an international student. So that was also helpful. And then I applied for a scholarship, but it's not the same as a scholarship. Uh, it's more like the NRF. How do you call that in South Africa? The NFS.
Yeah, and as fast I forgot what it
Yes.
stands for, but yeah, the basically student aid, financial aid.
Yes, so it's also like that of financial aid for students, because my parents in South Africa didn't yeah, in accordance to how well they get paid in the Netherlands wasn't enough. So then that allowed me also to get financial aid this side. And that yeah, with my job, I could save the financial aid money for the next year to pay my studies. And then that's what I try to do every year. Yeah. But then my husband was also so kind enough to let me not pay rent and stuff like that. So I had it pretty easy actually. And then I could just save my money to pay for my college fees. And then in between part-time jobs, I could pay for other things like medical aid and going out with friends and hockey fees. So yeah. So my story is a bit different. It's difficult and easy times. I find.
I think everyone's has. You have the easy parts and you have the difficult parts. And how is learning Dutch? Like, are you fluent in Dutch? How did you manage to do your degree in Dutch, right?
Yes. Ooh, it was a tough one. I mean, I am Afrikaans. I'm colored, so I went to Afrikaans school in South Africa, in primary and high school. And then in university, I studied everything in English. So that transition from high school to first year was also a bit difficult for me, as that I had to do everything in English now. But then it went well. At the end of my studies, and I always liked English. I thought of myself maybe more going to England and study there. But then, yeah, I ended up here, which is also good now that the Brexit and everything is started aside. Anyways, but then studying in Dutch, it helped actually to know Afrikaans because, yeah, all the words, while it's mostly compared to Afrikaans, I would say Dutch, but the pronunciation and the grammar is most difficult, I find, still in Dutch, as to, you need to pronounce the words correctly with the vocals, especially, and the grammar, how they do things this side. It's, and context wise, how they use the words, it's also still a bit difficult. And especially now that that I'm done with studying, I still learn so much more because you're just stuck in one tunnel of civil engineering and you just learn about that. But there are still more other words around civil engineering, and so every time I hear a different word, I'm like, okay, what is that again? Or then I need to Google what is the meaning. So every day is still a learning experience for me this side. Although I'm actually here now for 3 years. Almost 3.5. But then every day you still learn a lot. And yeah, stuck in my little world of civil engineering or geotechnical engineering, you just get more words to learn because you're working now for a company, and there's so much more than just studying in your little study course. But yeah, I think having Dutch friends helps as well, and with my husband and his family helped me as well. Um, Learning Dutch, still teaching me, um, and helping me with my grammar. But then I feel like I'm losing myself with my language. Afrikaans, I don't speak so well anymore. I feel English as well goes downhill. Um, yeah, it feels so weird losing yourself a bit.
I'm
But then,
sure.
yeah, every day is Dutch on this side. So it's nice now to have an English interview again, to to practice again. But yeah,
As
that's yeah. So it is difficult. Still today I found it difficult, but it's a learning experience, and it's fun. It's challenging still.
I'm sure if you had to come back to South Africa, it would be like have to readapt with the language
Yes.
again.
Yes, even my cousin says I have an accent. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just speak English. That's maybe the best.
I'm sure with your mom and your, I mean, yeah, your mom, your dad, and your sister, you speak. English to Afrikaans. Or
Afrikaans, yeah.
Afrikaans. So maybe at least
Yeah.
you get your Afrikaans back there when you speak to them.
Yes. Yes, my I don't know what's Afrikaans. Yeah.
Because
How it
everything
is
is
so.
intertwined now.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I still use Afrikaans words in Dutch or like slang words like yenne or mara or yeah, you know those small little words like what they don't understand that I still use because yeah, that's still in me and I can't get it out. But then you also get used to how they say things and how they express themselves. So that's yeah, all intertwined.
Probably in the next 5 years you'll be like
Yeah,
fine
fully.
fully.
Yeah,
I know
fully integrated.
yes. I know I would definitely struggle with that. I'll struggle with Dutch. If you struggle with Dutch and you were Afrikaans fluent, I would definitely struggle with that. I
Yes.
struggle with Afrikaans, so I definitely will struggle with Dutch.
No, I get it. Yeah, there are English South Africans this side, and they also do because, yeah, they didn't have, or they had Afrikaans in school, but then, yeah, they didn't use it that much. So you'll understand the words when you read it or so, or listen what they say, but then speaking it, I think, yeah, maybe it will come easy as well. It's just learning a new language again. I think it will become, yeah, people find it hard, others find it easy. It also just depends how much work you put into it.
That's true.
That's also,
And how do you find Netherlands compared to South Africa?
I find it good, well structured, yeah, structured, but well organized as well with everything they do, yeah. Even though every country has its own problems, like yeah, here as well, there are problems. Um, yeah, with the politics and stuff. But so far, it's really good. Everything is easy. We just cycle everywhere, which is nice. And now, especially with the, how do you call it, the climate change and with um, the CO2 record they have this side in Europe. Um, yeah, it's nice seeing so plenty of electric cars and how they initialize of being eco-friendly and sustainable. That is good. And also, yeah, this side, because the country is so small, um, yeah, they also want you to eat less meat and they want less pigs in the Netherlands to export and stuff like that. But then, yeah, I'm South African and we eat a lot of meat. So that part is still in me. But yeah, I try to eat less meat as well. But yeah, I don't know. They have lots of replacements for meat, which is also nice, the vegetarian stuff and vegan stuff. I really enjoy it as well, some stuff. But yeah, you need to adapt of the change this side as well. Culture-wise as well, sometimes I still I still amaze myself of things they do this side or yeah, just what happens sometimes this side or how people complain. Like Dutch people complain a lot. Uh, and South Africans, you complain, but then you suck it up and you go on. We are more strong-minded and we adapt as well quickly, but we don't complain that much. I don't know. Or maybe we do, but then in a lesser manner. But yeah, even though things go well, people complain. I always say to my husband, yeah, luxury problems you have, or first world problems. I mean, why do you want to complain about stuff sometimes? Like, yeah. Um, Everything, yeah, I enjoy staying here, living here. It's easy with the public transport. I go to work with the bus every day. Um, and I cycle everywhere, walk everywhere. Even though the crime is also going up a bit, it's not that hectic as in South Africa. You also still feel safe, but as a South African, you always have your your eyes behind your head anyways. I don't know, that still is part of me. I always keep my handbag closed and don't be so showy about your personal items and telephones and stuff like that. And what else? The food. The food is good. I enjoy it as well, but it's so plain. People, people, yeah, you need to eat less salt, I know, and stuff, and it's better for your heart. But then it's like they don't use spices like for their food. But then there's so plenty of international places here, Asian restaurants like Chinese, Vietnamese, Indonesian, um, and people really enjoy those types of food because it's something else, something more spicy and yeah, flavorful instead of their plain food like potatoes with chicken and broccoli or something.
It sounds very depressing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I mean, the mincemeat, even their mincemeat is not the same as South Africa. Yeah, I need to throw in so much spices for the taste just to come out nicely. So, yeah, so that's why I like eating the meat, but yeah, you actually need to go to a butcher to find the nicer meat, which is also nice, but then, yeah, we need to do that more actually. um, I would say, yeah, the food and yeah, I'm getting used to everything. So sometimes I complain about the food because it's the same all the time. And I like eating different things, or I miss the flavor of South Africa, the nice spices, or just making something tasteful instead of having to add more salt every time, you know. But the rest, yeah, I think it's really a nice and easy country to stay in and to adapt. But then sometimes the weather is depressing. Yeah, this year I found myself a bit not depressed, but more gloomy. Yeah, the summer was really just rain, cloudy, and then this week will become nice weather. But then, yeah, it was 1 week out of almost 3 months of summer. Yeah, we just had a few summery days, but it wasn't that great. I don't complain about the rain as well. It's also good to have rain. And I like working in cloudy weather. I actually like cloudy weather, but then this year was a bit too much, I would say. And listening to me complain as well now. See, so so I'm also learning how to complain. Ah,
But I
but
think, like
yeah,
being South African, I think you just enjoy the sun. Like we're so
yeah,
used to having the sun, and I think also on a scientific level, like the sun is so important for us.
exactly.
So it makes sense why you feel a bit gloomy, because yeah.
Exactly. You see, my tan is already. I didn't even. I don't have a tan. So hopefully, when we go on holiday, then I'm gonna get it back. Then I'm ready for autumn.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Most probably, hopefully, because I mean, I think that's the South African, the tan. um,
Yes.
but hopefully, do you get South African food sold in a supermarket with like spices?
Yes, we actually have South African shops that are popping up. Dispense is one, Kuierkos is also one. They also have biltong, and yeah, importing South African goodies in. It's also a bit of expensive because yeah of the importation rates and everything like that. But then it's also worth it to buy if you once in a while you want Romany creams, cookies, or the nice spices like braai spices or biltong.
to
then
add flavor to your
yes.
food.
Exactly. Then, yes, all the nice chips, all those South African flavors you just want, or yeah, you just miss. Then, yeah, that's what you can do to buy from there. So I still want to buy more goodies, like the food chutney chips of Simba and the food chutney sauce. Oh, stock my house. Yeah, I'm already wanting some more. So maybe I'm gonna buy this week some spices and stuff, or after the holiday. I'll see. Sorry, my mind is wandering.
I can see I put all the food in your head now.
Yes,
But thank you.
yes, exactly.
But thank you so much for the interview. I'm sure whoever watches it will have quite an insight with
Yes.
Netherlands and just in general about your journey, and hopefully it will help them. But before we end the interview, what lessons would you like to share that you've learned from your journey that you learned from Montreal?
Which lessons? Hmm. Um, yeah, if you want to do something or um, want something more out of life for yourself, or challenge yourself, or just get out of your comfort zone, then I would say, yeah, research, research, research. I mean, everything you can find is basically on Google. I do that a lot. I just Google something I want to know, then I research. I would also say take the time to see what you want to do, and yeah, and yeah, to learn so much about yourself. And then you would also find the right path for yourself, um, to what you want to do in life. And always take a step back to see the bigger picture. So then you can reflect on life, how far you've come, and just to enjoy the small moments as well as what it brought you. What did I write still here? Mm, yes. Also, yeah, when there are closed doors, that's also a sign showing you that that's not your right direction to follow. And maybe there's a door slightly open, and the method you already took um, to go explore what's behind the door, it's not working out, then I would suggest to find another method into go into look into looking what's behind the door, because a different method always gives you another perspective of something, and yeah, and not really what you have in mind, but maybe just that step outside of your comfort zone. Taking another method helps you gain so much more into opening that door into the direction you want to go into. Hopefully that's not all confusing and vague, but yes, I would suggest that. Oh, my English, it's running low.
Well, at least we're done with the interview.
Yes. No, but it was great speaking to you and seeing you again. I hope the listeners and viewers find something they want out of this interview. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for being on Figuring Out the Ordinary.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
All right, thank you.